Hi, my name is Lily Thompson and I'm 17 years old. I've always found peace in the small things around me, the sound of birds chirping in the morning or the smell of fresh paint in the air. These little things made me feel connected to the world, but I didn't always understand why they mattered. Especially one thing that had always been my way of escaping, painting. When I was younger, I spent hours with a sketchbook in hand, drawing anything I could imagine. My favourite thing to draw was a big old tree with birds perched on its branches. It wasn't perfect, but it felt like my art was the only place where I truly belonged. One day, while sitting in class, my teacher noticed one of my drawings. She came up to me and said, "Lily, you've got something special here. You should never stop drawing." Those words made me smile. For a moment I felt like my art actually mattered. But when I got home, I couldn't wait to share the news with my family. I thought they would be proud. But my dad looked at my drawing and said, "Lily, this is just a hobby. You need to focus on your studies. Art won't get you anywhere." His words stung, but I tried to ignore them. I went to my mum, hoping she'd see things differently. She smiled and said, "Your dad only wants what's best for you, but you do what makes you happy." Even though she supported me, I felt a little lost. Why wasn't art considered important? As I grew older, my love for painting only grew stronger, but the more I painted, the more people started to criticize me. I remember one time a classmate named Ryan laughed when I said I wanted to become an artist. "Artists don't make money," he said. "Do you want to be poor your whole life?" His words made my face turn red, and the other kids laughed along with him. At home, things weren't much better. My dad often told me, "You should be focusing on math and science, not wasting your time with paint." It felt like no one understood. But my mum, who always had my back, would secretly buy me new sketchbooks and say, "Follow your heart, but remember, hard work is key." I kept painting anyway. Even when I doubted myself, I'd sit in my room painting after school while everyone else was studying. Some nights I'd cry, feeling so alone. But I told myself, dreams aren't easy, and if I give up now, I'll regret it forever. It wasn't long before I found myself staring at a blank canvas, unable to pick up my paintbrush. The doubts in my mind were growing louder every day. What if everyone was right? What if I wasn't good enough? What if I never made it? These thoughts made me feel like I was trapped in a dark room, unable to see the light. I began to wonder if maybe I should just let go of my dream. Maybe I was wasting my time. I didn't pick up my paintbrush for almost a week. Instead, I spent my evenings in my room staring at the walls, letting the weight of everyone's criticism sit heavy on my chest. It was like I had forgotten why I even started painting in the first place. I had spent so many nights getting lost in colours and shapes, feeling free in a way that nothing else could offer. But now it all felt so distant. Then, one afternoon, Miss Lily, my art teacher, pulled me aside after class. She had noticed I hadn't been turning in any of my recent projects. "Lily, I've noticed you haven't been painting lately," she said gently. Her voice was warm, full of concern, but there was something else there too, a quiet strength that made me feel like she truly cared. "What's going on?" For a moment I just stood there, unsure of how to explain everything that was going through my mind. But then I told her the truth. I told her about the harsh words from my friends, how Ryan's comment about being poor if I became an artist still stung. I told her about my dad's constant insistence that I focus on real subjects like math and science, and I admitted that the longer I listened to them, the more I began to question myself. Maybe they were right. Maybe painting was just a dream that wasn't meant to come true. Miss Lily listened quietly, never interrupting. When I finished, she gave me a soft smile and placed her hand on mine. "Lily, every great artist has faced criticism. It's part of the journey. What makes them different is that they didn't let the negativity stop them. Her words hit me harder than I expected. I felt like a weight had been lifted from my chest, but also like I was seeing things more clearly. She went on, telling me about famous artists who had struggled just like I was. Vincent van Gogh, one of the greatest painters in history, only sold one painting during his lifetime, she said. But that didn't stop him. His art touched hearts, and that's what matters. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Van Gogh, the man whose work I had admired for so long. He had faced the same kind of challenges I was facing now, but he hadn't given up. Miss Lily's words gave me a new perspective. She wasn't just talking about art, she was talking about life. It was about more than just making money or being recognised. It was about touching people, sharing something from my heart, and leaving a part of myself in everything I created. She smiled at me, her eyes sparkling with encouragement. Lily, art isn't about what you can gain. It's about what you can give to the world. Don't ever forget that. That night I sat by my window, staring at the stars. The words Miss Lily had said echoed in my mind. I knew that I couldn't let fear and doubt control me any more. I had to keep going, no matter what. The next morning I picked up my paintbrush. For the first time in days I felt a spark of excitement. I painted a sunrise, the bright colours swirling together, each stroke reminding me that a new day brought with it new hope, new possibilities, and most importantly, it brought a reminder that my dream was still alive. As the days passed, I felt a spark of excitement return. The encouragement from Miss Lily gave me the push I needed, and I couldn't ignore the dream inside me anymore. It had always been there, hidden beneath the layers of doubt and fear, waiting for me to realise that it was worth chasing. The moment I decided to really pursue my art, I knew it wouldn't be easy. It never was. But this time I was determined to keep going, no matter how hard it got. I had my first taste of real courage when my school announced an upcoming art competition. The theme was the future, and even though I was terrified, I knew it was the perfect chance to show what I could do. I spent weeks brainstorming, sketching ideas, and experimenting with colours. Every night after finishing my homework, I would retreat into my little corner of the world with my sketchbook, my brushes, and my paints. The thought of sharing my work with others felt overwhelming, but the more I worked, the more I felt my confidence growing. The painting I decided to create would be a representation of everything I had been through, the fear, the doubt, and most importantly, the courage to keep going. The final piece I created was a picture of a girl holding a paintbrush in one hand, standing in front of a colourful world. To me, it symbolised the idea that I could shape my own future, that my dreams weren't limited by anyone else's opinions. The girl in the painting wasn't just me, she was anyone who was brave enough to follow their heart. The day of the competition arrived, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. My hands were shaking as I walked to school, the painting carefully wrapped in newspaper to protect it. The school gym was filled with students nervously waiting for the judges to start. As I placed my painting on the table, I tried to keep my nerves in check, but I couldn't help it. There were so many talented students around me, and my fear of not measuring up felt overwhelming. But I reminded myself why I was here. This wasn't just about winning. It was about proving to myself that I could do it, that I was capable of creating something meaningful no matter what anyone else thought. When the judges announced the winners, my heart skipped a beat. I held my breath, trying not to get my hopes up. The first prize goes to Scarlett. I couldn't believe it. I stood there frozen for a moment, and then the applause broke through the shock. My classmates cheered, and I saw Ryan, my old friend who had always doubted me, grinning and clapping. "Your painting is amazing," he said, his voice full of genuine admiration. That was the moment when I felt like I had truly won, not just the competition, but my own personal battle. Winning the competition didn't just give me a trophy, it gave me something much more important, the belief in myself to keep going, to keep pushing forward. It was the first step toward proving that my dream wasn't just a fantasy. The recognition from my peers and the teachers felt good, but it was the realization that I had done something I truly believed in that made it all worth it. Slowly, I started to share my paintings with others. I joined more competitions and started to post my work online. Little by little, people began to notice. Then, one day, I received a message from a local art gallery. They wanted to feature my work in an exhibition. I could hardly believe it. My dream was starting to come true. Seeing people admire my paintings, hearing them say that my art made them feel something, was a feeling I couldn't put into words. That day, when I handed my dad the first paycheck I earned from selling my art, I saw something I never expected. He looked at the check, then at me, and with a soft smile he said, "Scarlett, I was wrong. I'm proud of you." Those words meant more to me than anything. It was proof that following my dreams had been worth it. Now I paint full-time. I travel to new places, capturing the beauty I see in my artwork, and I share my story with others. I've learned that pursuing your dreams takes courage, but it also takes hard work. And even though the road is long, the destination is worth it.